Okay, hey guys and gals, Mr. Forgione back. We're going to go over the FRQ that hopefully most of you guys have turned in at this point. If you've not turned it in, and let me know because we're about to go over this, and I can get you a substitute FRQ possibly, but not going to be able to give you credit on this one once this video posts. Okay, this is a 10-point question, and this is, in my opinion, I think probably something like what you might see on the actual AP exam. I'm still getting a little bit of clarification there. One of the good things is that the AP test is going to be open notes, open book. You'll be able to use whatever resources that you want there, so that's a pretty good thing. So hopefully us going through this is going to be helpful. Now again, this we had A through E, and it's 10 points total, but it's not just 2 points apiece. The points are going to vary quite a bit per section. So we start off, we said that we have a perfectly competitive market, and that we're supposed to draw side by side a market graph and a firm graph for corn. So to begin, we're going to have supply and demand. Okay, and then I think we said we called this one QM, I believe was a subscript, was M and PM. Okay, so right there, if you only have that, if you got nothing else other than that, you already got 1 point, okay, for just drawing a supply and demand curve and having QM and PM. All right, next, we've got to look over here at the firm. We've got to draw our little dotted line going across, and we make our demand curve here, or MR, we'll call it Mr. DARP, right? If you've got only that, a horizontal demand curve that is connected to the equilibrium over here, that's another point. So now we've got 2 out of 10 if you've just got that. Okay, next it says it's asking for where the profit max quantity is. Okay, that was labeled, I think, Q star. So to do that, we're going to have to throw in a MC curve. We're going to have to throw in our marginal cost curve, which is the Nike swoosh. That didn't turn out too good. Let's try that again. All right, hopefully you guys can see that a little bit on the video. Call that MC. This intersection point right here where MR equals MC, that is our profit max point. We call that Q star. There's point number 3. So if we've got that, we've got 3 out of 10. And then last but not least, we're going to draw our ATC. Now it said here that we are only breaking even. Right now we are only breaking even. And so to show that break even point, I'm going to have my ATC, the bottom of my ATC, going right through that dot right there. That is my break even graph. If you've got that ATC in that position, there's your 4th point. So if you've got this for A, that is 4 out of 10. So even if you did nothing else, you've already got almost half the points by just doing A correctly. So that's why understanding these graphs super important, okay? Now, part B, it says that now the demand for ethanol is going up. So demand for ethanol, it says in the prompt that I gave you that corn is used in producing ethanol. Well, the demand for ethanol is higher. We need to get more ethanol. If we're buying more ethanol, then that means we need more corn as well, right? That we would have to demand more corn to produce this ethanol. So what happens over here in our supply and demand for corn? That's going to be a demand increase for corn here. We're going to show a demand increase. I'll switch up the colors. Let's go red. Hopefully that shows up on here. We're going to go red, a demand increase. Okay, and I don't think I had you guys do PM2 or QM2, but you can do that if you want, just to be a completist. All right, and then over here, we're going to draw our dot. We're going to have this guy, or MR2, D2. You can go ahead with the whole Mr. DARP 2 again. I'm just going to leave off there. I think you guys kind of get that concept, hopefully, at this point. But that's our new curve. Now, The next part of this would be, all right, where is our new profit max point? Well, profit max always happens where MR equals MC. We've got a new MR. Did anything change with MC? Nope. Everything's the same there. So this is our new profit max point. We can call it Q star 2 if we want, however you want to do it, okay? But there's our new profit max point. Now, I asked you guys to do the shading to basically show the amount of profit. Well, before we were breaking even, do we have profit now? Yep, sure do, because here's my MR, here's the amount of money that's coming in, right? Here is my cost, or what is going out. So in other words, there's the money I'm making, there's what I'm paying, the difference between what comes in and what goes out, that is my profit. Now in this case, because we're dealing with averages, that is profit per unit. How do I show the amount of my total profit? I am glad you asked. We got to multiply by the quantity. So what that means is we say, okay, this is for each unit. That little distance right there, that's the amount of profit we make for each unit. We sold this many units, so we're going to make a little rectangle right there. Okay, that little red rectangle would represent my profit. And so we'll make it orange just to be silly. We'll throw this sort of brownish orange looking guy in here for the profit. So that guy right there would be my profit. Okay, the demand shift, the shaded profit, that is worth an additional 2 points. So if you've got that D2 and you've got that shaded area there, now we're up to 6 out of 10. Okay, so we're doing pretty good there. We got over half the points at this point. 6 out of 10 is pretty solid. Okay, the next part is it says, what do we expect to happen here in the long run? What do we think is going to happen to the price and quantity for corn in the long run? Well, if I've got this situation where people are now making a profit, they're making an economic profit, there now exists an incentive for people to try to farm corn because people are making money. There's a demand for it, there's a higher price for it, people can make money, more companies are going to come in. It's sort of like what we talked about with the Italian ice or the frozen lemonade, where I said, okay, if let's say Avery is selling frozen lemonade out by the pit, and she's making $4 a pop on that, and then maybe, I don't know, let's say Lizzie comes in and says, well, I'm going to sell in the front parking lot and I'll drop it down to $3.50. And then Ben says, well, forget that. I want to make some money. I'll sell back by the baseball field at $3. Okay, that's the same scenario we've got here. People are going to come in looking to make some of that profit. So you're going to have more suppliers. Anytime you get more suppliers, what does that do to the quantity? Sends it up, right? So we're going to have a greater quantity of corn being produced now because, hey, there's a profit incentive. The supply is going to increase. People are going to come in. But what else does that do? It's going to send the price down because now there's more people competing. So by comparison, for where we are right here, okay, we're going to see eventually in the long term more companies coming in because now we're making profit. So that sends the quantity up. But because they're competing, the price is going to go back down some. Okay, so that explanation there, saying quantity goes up, price goes down, and the explanation, believe it or not, that's only worth 1 point. But if you've got that now, 7 out of 10, we're still in pretty good shape. Okay, the next one is talking about soybeans. It says a farmer could either make soybeans or corn on their farm, and so we know now the price of corn has increased. Now, there's a couple ways of looking at this. The way that the AP themselves said to look at this is, well, okay, you've got the price of each one of the, or rather, the price of corn has gone up, and farmers could do either one. So they're going to choose to make corn in this case because there's profit incentive, the price is higher. They're going to choose to make corn, and so the supply of soybeans would then go down. And that's going to raise the price. Anytime you have a supply decrease, the price goes up. That's what the AP says, and that's true. That you can look at it that way. That's great. I would also argue, though, that if we're looking at corn and soybeans as substitutes, that you could also probably make a case on the demand side here as well. That if corn and soybeans are substitutes for each other, and the price of corn went up, well, the demand for soybeans would probably go up as well, and anytime there's a demand increase, hey, the price is going to go up there as well. So either way, the price is going up, and I would argue that either one of those explanations would be correct. That gets you another point, so now we're at 8 out of 10. So now we get down to E, and it's asking you to draw a new graph. So I'm going to take a pause for a second. I'm going to let you guys look at this. Pause it if you want, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do on this because I'm about to erase it and draw the part E graph. All right, we're good there? Cool. So now we're drawing a new graph, and it says that we're going to put a price ceiling on corn because we apparently need corn super bad because we're living in Iowa or Nebraska or something like that. I don't know. So we need this price ceiling. Well, first thing we need to understand on a price ceiling, is it binding or not? And in this case, we said yes, it is. We want a binding price ceiling or an effective price ceiling, okay? So where does that have to be set? Well, a ceiling, if it's going to be effective, has got to be below equilibrium. Okay, it's got to be below equilibrium in order for it to be effective. So what I got to do is draw this right here. There is my price ceiling. It is below equilibrium. Now the reason it's below equilibrium, just to review, you can't go above a ceiling. A ceiling is a max. If we're trying to get the price lower, I got to make it down below equilibrium so I can't get to that. If it's up here, it doesn't actually do anything. We're just at equilibrium. But down here, now it's effective, it's binding, it keeps me from equilibrium. And that's what we mean by binding or effective. Does it keep people from getting to equilibrium? And here, if that's the case, it does keep us from getting there. So that's our PC. Lastly, it says, where's the amount, what's the quantity that consumers buy? Now, usually we would look at this and go, oh, well, we know we've got a shortage here. That's the amount that is being produced over here. This is the amount that's demanded. We normally think, okay, demand, that goes with consumers. It's got to be this one, right? Not that one. It's going to be this guy instead. This is our quantity that consumers are going to buy. Why is that? Because that's all that's out there. Yeah, the demand is this. This is all the people that want them, right? Are they able to get them? No, they can't get them. There's a shortage, right? This is the supply of corn at this point. That's all they can buy. So they're going to buy everything they can, but they're not able to, even though they demand this, they can't get it. There's a shortage at this lower price. So if you've got the price ceiling below equilibrium, and if you've got the quantity that's consumed at this point right here on the supply curve, that's an additional 2 points. Now we got 10 out of 10. If you guys have questions, comments, anything like that, either hit me up on Classroom, email me, or drop them in the comments below. I hope that y'all are doing well with the quarantine, and we'll pick it up from there later on in the week. Thanks, guys.